Wasabi guys, it's your boy Ray Coffie from the Super Geeky Nerdy Show, SGNS, and this is the SGNS Chat.
And this is Patrick. I'm going to be joining Ray Coffie for today's SGNS Chat. And for you guys listening on this, what this basically is all about is we're just going to be recording whatever we want to feel like talking about. Because sometimes the SGNS crew gets together and we just start chatting about every single thing we could think of, every topic, movies, comic books, video games, and social topics even. So that's all this is about. And we actually would love to get your guys' opinion, whether you think something like this would be interesting. And maybe we could kind of delve into start doing podcasts actually, and maybe start having, different guests that we know that's in the entertainment industry and people that do cosplay and all those other kind of stuff. So let us know in the comment section, and especially let us know about some of the topics we talk about. We'd love to hear your guys' opinions.
Oh yeah. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about Sante Fe Comic Con. Patrick, what do you think about the Sante Fe Comic Con this year and its guest?
I think it's pretty good. I've been there a few times, and it's always been a great experience every time I've gone. SGN is going to be there, right?
Yes, sir. We're going to be doing our cosplay interviews, cosplay music videos, some celebrity interviews, and just taking pictures of all these awesome cosplayers we have here in the state of New Mexico.
That's pretty cool. There's actually going to be a special guest at our table, right?
I believe so. We're going to have Pennywise, the dancing clown from the movie It, one of Stephen King's best works, so people say.
So who's the guy that actually cosplays as Pennywise?
Oh yes, it was my good friend Everett Wilbanks. The kid's amazing. I mean, his cosplays are off the chart. This guy is he does everything by hand. This kid is pretty impressive. So if you guys haven't seen him, check him out on Facebook, social media. Just look him up. He's pretty cool.
Actually, SGNS just did a promo video, right, for Sante Fe?
That is correct. We did a 1 minute, 15-second promo with the Everett as Pennywise, the dancing clown for the Sante Fe Comic Con. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I checked it out, and he actually did a really good job as Pennywise. But I think he was actually at that store in Albuquerque called Cosmic Closet the other day, right?
Yes, he was there from 2 to 5. He was just standing in the window, creeping little kids out. I seen a bunch of, because I stopped by real quick, wanted to get me something to eat at the food court. And I stopped by and you see little kids just running and crying and screaming. Once they saw him, he was like acting like a mannequin behind the window. It was pretty funny. People are lining up to take pictures with him. He was giving them free balloons because, everybody floats.
I actually heard that he actually got a lot of people taking pictures with him.
He did. They gave him donations and everything. He got
tips.
Pretty big.
He got tips.
He got tips. He got a lot of tips. That jar was full. I even gave him a tip.
Oh, you actually took a picture with him?
Well, Amy did. She took a picture with him. But, yeah, we gave him a tip. It was pretty awesome.
That's cool. So that'll be cool to see him over at Sante Fe Comic Con, but there's also actually a lot of other guests at Sante Fe Comic Con, right?
Correct. They're gonna have the original green / white Power Ranger. He's gonna be there. Got Jason David Frank, the original Pink Ranger. Amy Jo Johnson is gonna be there. So for all you guys who grew up in the 90s and saw Power Rangers, this is your opportunity to meet two of the greats that started it all for Power Rangers. So this is an opportunity to go meet these guys. Jason David Frank, I interviewed him a few years ago. Guy is amazing. He's one of the coolest people I've ever met. And I'm looking forward to interviewing Amy Jo Johnson if I get a chance because, hey, that was my crush watching Power Rangers. I'm a little boy. I was like, woo, the Pink Ranger. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I had a crush on her too.
Oh, every kid in the 90s had a crush on Amy Jo Johnson.
So, over at Sante Fe Comic Con, one of the cool things too about Sante Fe Comic Con is this is pretty much the only times we get to see these famous comic book artists, right? And these special guests that they have, other than actually Albuquerque Comic Con.
Correct. So some of them may be returning in January for the Albuquerque Comic Con. They're still putting up guests. They don't have a full guest list yet. They're still working on it. So hopefully some of them return. I'm looking forward for Kel Mitchell, the return, he was there last year. The guy was great.
Oh, he's coming back.
I hope he does. He was pretty entertaining. You could watch him in one of our videos. He was doing a super geeky, nerdy dance. It was awesome.
Yeah, so everybody who's interested in comic books and all that kind of stuff, please come by Sante Fe Comic Con and please come by our table. SGNS is going to have a table over there. Please say hi because Pennywise is going to be there too. Speaking of Pennywise, did you watch the It movie?
I did. I did. Twice. I watched it twice.
Oh, you liked it that much?
I didn't. I thought it was okay. My girlfriend's in love with the clown. I don't know. There's like this weird thing going on with women that are like obsessed with Pennywise the clown, who the actor is Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, okay.
This guy's like freakishly tall. He's like 6'5" or 6'7". He's tower.
Well, what did you think about it?
It is very different from the original. It's dark. I feel like it's more darker than the original. It's a little more serious because if you go back to Tim Curry's version of it, I thought it was hilarious watching it as an adult now.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I saw the movie. I saw the new It, and I didn't really think it was all that scary. But what I did think was it was a good monster movie. It just wasn't a horror movie. I just wouldn't consider it a horror movie.
No, there wasn't that much horror. I mean, there's maybe one or two scenes that'll make you like, oh, like what the crap is like. I ain't gonna tell you the scenes, but I've seen people jump in the movie theater like at 2 or 3 scenes. So there are some scenes that will make you like, jump out of your seat. Depends what kind of person you are, though.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but I'm not sure I would classify it as a horror movie. But I did think it was way better than the TV movie.
Oh yeah, way better, better.
I'll say this though, I wasn't too happy about the design of Pennywise, and it's nothing wrong really with how Pennywise looks like when it's time to scare you. But I thought that the way they designed Pennywise he was creepy right off the bat.
Yes,
and that's the version the TV movie had. That I think they had the advantage when it came to designing him correctly, because Tim Curry in the original TV movie, he actually looks like a clown that you would actually see in real life, right?
Yeah, he doesn't look like a scary clown. And if you've seen the original movie, the kids weren't scared of his clown because he looked like a friendly clown. So it was easy for Tim Curry's It to lure kids in because he looked like a friendly clown.
Exactly.
So in this version of it, this new version, he looks straight up evil. You could tell he looks like an evil clown.
Yeah, exactly. Right off the bat. He looks creepy. So I think that was only the design. That was the only flaw of the design. But other than that, I thought it was a really good character design for Pennywise. But I would have loved to see the design be a little more realistic at first, and then when it was time to scare people, like scare the kids, then they could have made the design a little more creepy like they had it.
Yeah, they could. I mean, because Pennywise, he's this being who has the ability to change into anything he wants. He could turn into your greatest fear. So yeah, he could transform into anything he pretty much wants. So yeah, they could have done that in the film, but that's just the route they went with.
But otherwise, I still thought it was a good movie. It was a good movie. So speaking of horror movies, since it's almost Halloween, let's talk about horror movies. What is your favorite horror movie? Or actually, horror movies that you've seen recently that you liked?
That I've seen recently that I like?
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't. I just been watching old school movies.
Okay.
People are telling me that Annabelle is scary.
Actually, okay, now that you're speaking of Annabelle, I actually saw Annabelle the other day. And I think compared to movies these days, Annabelle is actually one of the better movies.
Really? So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out then. It has mixed reviews online, but more positive on Rotten Tomatoes.
Because here's the thing about recent horror movies. I think that recent horror movies have actually been really bad. Just really, really bad.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason. I don't know why, but horror seems to be a genre of movies that the studios can't really get right. Some of them are good, but for the most part, horror is a very difficult genre to get right. And it seems like these days, most horror movies are just bad. Too many jump scares, too much use of CGI. I think that's one of the major reasons too. is that there's too much use of CGI.
Yeah, they're too CGI heavy, and that's just ruining it.
And I think there's a lack of creative writing, and I think most filmmakers these days just don't know how to set up atmosphere. To me,
Yeah, all these new directors, they are. I don't think they got that touch.
but let's say so we were talking about the movie Annabelle. Annabelle is, like I said, Annabelle, the first Annabelle, actually, let me get that right. The first Annabelle sucked.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so so let me correct myself. The first Annabelle movie sucked. What I'm talking about is the Annabelle sequel. I forgot the name of it. It was like Annabelle Creation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is actually pretty good. So if any of you want to see a new horror movie, go check out Annabelle Creation or Creations.
Or the sequel to Annabelle.
Yeah, the sequel to Annabelle.
Yeah.
So check that out. It's actually a pretty good horror movie. But if you want to just watch a good horror movie, regardless of whether it's new or not, man, I think I would have to go way back. Like I would have to go back. Let's say I'm not going to talk about The Exorcist because that's too cliche.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about all the old movies from the 80s or 90s even. Maybe the 90s. But let's say if you want to check out a good horror movie, check out some movies like The Ring.
Woo.
I know a lot of people's gonna disagree with me here, maybe, but I thought the Ring American remake was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like the Asian versions. They're pretty.
Oh, I'll get to that. I'll get to Asian horror movies.
Okay.
So the Ring American remake is actually pretty good. The Others is actually another good movie. That's the one with Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
That is a good ghost story. So if you haven't seen it, please see it and try to avoid spoilers.
Yes. Plus, it's Nicole Kidman. Yummy.
And I don't know if these qualify as horror movies, but I guess they could. You should check out movies like the first Rec. It's called Rec, R-E-C. It's a Spanish film, so if you have trouble reading subtitles, you may not like it. But please don't be a dumbass and have a problem with subtitles. Just watch it. It's fine.
Just enjoy it for what it is.
Just read.
Yeah.
Please learn how to read.
You could read a Jet Li movie and a Jackie Chan, so you could read a Spanish movie.
And you could also watch movies like there's also another Spanish movie. I think the Spanish movies actually have a good catalog of horror movies because they also have movies like I think it's a Spanish movie, The Orphanage.
Yes, that is a Spanish
That
movie.
is a good horror movie too.
It is.
So if you haven't seen it, please check that out.
It's pretty. It's pretty scary.
And okay, so speaking of good horror movies, the best horror movies I've ever seen personally are the Asian horror movies.
Yeah, they get it right.
So if I gotta recommend you horror movies, watch Japanese horror movies or even Korean horror movies because those are going to be some of the best horror movies you've ever seen. And of course, check out the original Ring movies. I think there's about 3 of them. I'm not too sure.
I think there's 3 or 4 because one of them is like an origin.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then watch The Grudge. That is okay. So that's a classic.
The Grudge is
so
a
these
classic.
these are pretty much the standard Asian horror movies that we're going to be recommending. And if you haven't checked them out, please check them out. So The Grudge, and check out this horror movie from actually Thailand called Shudder.
Ooh,
Not Shutter Island.
Shudder.
Shudder.
I've heard about it. I need to watch it.
You haven't seen it?
Watch it. No, not yet.
Oh man, that's actually that's actually to me my favorite Asian horror movie.
Yeah.
Shudder. It's that good.
Is that good? Is
And
it on Netflix?
It's on. I think it should be on Netflix, but I'm
gonna
not
look
too
it up.
sure.
I'm gonna look it up.
If it's not on Netflix, then you could check out some other sites to check out movies.
Oh yeah, got it.
I'm not. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Not that we're condoning anything, right?
We're not condoning
Okay.
anything.
I don't want to. I don't want to condone something.
I don't want someone saying those
I'm
guys
just-
on this talk show said that we could. I was like, no condoning.
So Shudder's a good movie, and another actually movie from Thailand that's a good horror movie is The Eye.
The Eye. What's that about?
The Eye is a movie about a girl who gets into an accident and has to get somebody's eyes transplanted into her
Weird.
own eyes or her own head.
Sounds interesting already.
And once she gets the organ eyes, organ donor eyes, is that even the right term? Once she gets the transplanted eyes, that's when she starts seeing
Crazy stuff.
crazy stuff.
Oh,
There you go.
man.
And that's all I'll say. You have to
Okay.
check it out. You haven't seen it?
No, I gotta look. I gotta look
Oh
that
man,
up.
you're kind of behind the times when it comes to Asian horror
I
movies.
am. I'm slacking. I used to be on it.
Well, other than Asian horror movies, I mean, what horror movies have you seen that you would recommend, regardless of?
The last one I saw was Train to Busan. Busan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually a really good movie.
It's a great zombie movie.
But okay, so here's the thing. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. But do you consider zombie movies to be horror?
No, they're more like thrillers.
What do you consider a horror movie to be?
Something that's just got you on edge. Like you're waiting for a scare to happen.
Well, see, the way I see it, to me, a horror movie, I guess I'm being kind of simplistic about it because I consider a horror movie to be something dealing with the supernatural, something dealing with ghosts, and I don't really consider zombies
No, or vampires.
or no, I consider maybe vampires.
Depending.
Because I guess I consider them to be monster movies. I
Yeah.
guess, but then I guess I'm being also a little kind of. I'm kind of contradicting myself because I did recommend a horror movie called Wreck, which is kind of a zombie movie. But I'll just recommend those movies regardless because they're good movies, so just watch them anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Train to Busan, go check that out. It's a zombie movie and it's perfect for Halloween anyway, so maybe even if it's not a horror movie, it's still good.
It's still good. Yeah.
It's still good for Halloween.
I thought it was great. It's pretty intense.
Well, since we're talking about zombie movies, then let's talk about our favorite zombie movies. Train to Busan is your favorite zombie movie?
You know what? Definitely. I enjoyed that movie. Definitely number one for me.
So, well, then if that's the case, then yeah, Wreck would be my favorite zombie movie, but Train to Busan would probably be my second. That's a really great movie, and it's Korean. So
Yeah,
if you haven't seen it, please check that out. There's going to be an American remake pretty soon.
Oh, I did not know that.
I knew that, but I didn't care. I don't care because
It's-
somehow they're going to screw it up, and
Of course,
I hate
it's not
that.
going to live up to its original comic.
I don't
book.
think so. But yeah, check out Train to Busan. That's on Netflix, I think.
Yes, it's still on Netflix.
Okay, so
Saw it
check
a few
that
weeks ago. I've seen it like 3 times because it's a great movie.
And I'll just recommend another classic horror movie. Check out. See, this is another horror movie that's not really horror in my definition, but I'm gonna recommend it anyway because it's Halloween.
Which one is it?
The Thing
The Thing
with Kurt
Ooh,
Russell.
Yes.
So just check that out. That's an oldie, but it's a classic.
I always watch the original Halloween on Halloween.
Okay, so slasher movies are definitely to me not horror movies.
No, they're just
but they're good for Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, do you like torture porn?
No, I don't.
See, I've
It's
always
it's torture and it's porn. So
I've always hated torture porn. I've always hated those movies like Hostel or Saw.
they're dumb.
I thought the first Saw and the second Saw were decent, but
Yeah.
everything after that,
Trash down the
Just
drain.
trash.
Just yeah. This what's the new one coming up? Jigsaw.
oh my god!
Yeah, I'm just like people are like excited. I was like, why?
I can't believe they even made that.
Like yeah, I was like, this guy's supposed to be dead and he's still killing people.
Nah, I think these guys are just writing.
They're
stuff.
like, oh man, they're milking that thing so bad.
yeah, I don't understand that.
What was that other one that came out? It's like 20 years late. Jeepers Creepers 3. I was like, what the
That's
hell?
also coming out.
That came out already.
Oh jeez.
It was like I seen some of my coworkers seen it, and they said that.
Oh,
was
it's
like-
already out.
Yeah, it's already out, and they said that it's like watching Netflix. It's like watching a Netflix movie. That's how cheap this installment is. This third installment to the franchise.
All right.
Yeah, it's like low budget.
Well, you know what? That's their fault. They
Yeah.
should have known it was going to be bad from the
Yeah,
get-go.
I mean, they're what 15 years later to
Yeah.
make a sequel to this movie.
I don't understand people that go to the theater and then complain when the movie's bad when they should have known better.
I know. I was like, you can't expect a movie that's like 15 years late to be good.
So
That was like, which a perfect example is, what's that movie, Frank Miller?
the sequel to 300?
No, not the sequel to 300, the other one, the Sin City.
Oh, okay.
That one was a perfect example because it did horrible.
All right.
They did it super late, so.
Well, then, speaking of other movies, Was there any other horror movies you wanted to chime in on or recommend?
You know what? Rumor is they're making a Gremlins movie, but I don't know if Gremlins falls under.
It's
I think
who cares?
Who cares, right?
It's Halloween.
Some people are actually scared of the Gremlins.
I'm just very picky when it comes to what I consider horror movies.
Oh, I also heard that they're doing. Did you ever watch Critters?
Yes, I love that movie.
Yes, I love Critters. Rumor is they're making a reboot to Critters.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I gotta look that up because when I was a kid, I was scared of those little bastards.
No, I just love those movies.
They're funny little monsters.
When it comes to horror movies, I've just been always a big fan of horror movies. I remember when I was young and my parents would take me to the video store. And that's when we still had to rent VHS tapes.
Yes, the good old days.
And we would just rent any horror movie that looked remotely good. So we would judge horror movies by the cover.
Oh, yes.
And most of the time they turn out to be crap. But regardless, it's still a fun time.
Yeah, sometimes there was a gem in those craps. Sometimes there was a gem.
Okay, so I remember, just before we get off the topic of horror movies, but there are actually good horror movies that were made recently. And one of those movies, actually, if I had to recommend a few, actually, now that I think about it, is movies like Insidious.
Ooh, yes.
And The Conjuring. I actually thought when it comes to recent times, those were actually probably two of the best horror movies.
The Conjuring was good.
Yeah.
I still have to watch. There's a sequel, right, to Insidious?
There's actually two sequels to Insidious and a sequel to Conjuring.
Okay. I need to watch those. But the first ones were good. Insidious, the first, and the Conjuring was a good one.
The only problem is, while Insidious was good and The Conjuring was good, the sequels to both movies have been horrible. I hated Insidious 2.
Yeah.
I hated The Conjuring 2. And I hated Insidious 3. It was the third one.
Yeah.
And they're making a fourth, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have much hope for that.
It's like Paranormal Activity all over again.
Yeah, so for this Halloween, if you want to check out some horror movies, please check out some of those Japanese and Asian horror movies that we recommended.
Because they get it right. They know how to get it.
Yeah, those are probably some of the best horror movies you guys will ever check out. And when it comes to more newer horror movies, I guess, check out Insidious and The Conjuring.
Yep.
I guess those are decent.
The first ones, not the sequels.
Yeah, not the sequels. The first ones. Okay, so let's get off horror movies and actually talk about probably the biggest movie this year.
Ooh, are we talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi?
No, I was talking about the Yaya Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. What were you talking about?
You son of a nice lady.
Sorry.
The Yaya Pants.
Yeah, I thought there was a sequel to that movie. Okay, yeah, I guess we're talking about Star Wars, right?
Oh yeah.
Star Wars. What is it called?
The Last Jedi. I would have been happy if it was called The Last Sith.
Overall, though, actually, if we're talking about movies, don't you agree that this year's been actually kind of weak when it comes to movies?
It has been. We've only had like one blockbuster, like every 2 months, every other month?
I don't think it's even that. I think that we've just had a horrible year for movies. I mean, what would you consider your favorite movie of the year so far?
It hasn't even come out yet, and it's Star Wars.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
So you haven't really seen a movie this year that you thought was good?
Oh God, what was it? I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. It was pretty good, but it just wasn't as good as the first one. And honestly, I think the best movie I've seen this year was It remake.
Okay, so It's the best movie you've seen this year.
Yeah, this year, yeah, sadly so far.
So if I have to say which movie I thought was good, my favorite movie this year, I couldn't even tell you.
Is it John Wick 2?
Was that this year?
Yes. John Wick was earlier this year.
Then I'm gonna say John Wick 2, and I didn't even think that movie was that great.
It was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one. The first one was pretty badass.
That's how bad this year's been when it comes to movies. John Wick 2 is the best movie I've seen this year, and it wasn't that great.
Oh man, that's heartbreaking.
Okay, so back to the topic of Star Wars. What did you think about the trailer?
Ooh, I don't know. I think the trailer felt kind of spoilerish. Like when you watch it, if you watch it a couple of times, you start puzzling stuff together.
Okay, I'm not even going to ask you what parts you think is spoilerish, but
let's not go there.
Because
that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, because you probably know better than I do, so I'm not even going to ask. But I don't know. I mean, I saw the trailer and I thought, I guess it's okay. But I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. But there was nothing really in the trailer that made me excited to watch the movie.
How dare you? This is going to be the darkest. It's being said that it's going to be the darkest Star Wars movie. It is the longest running Star Wars movie. It's going to be close to 3 hours. And it is a direct sequel to The Force Awakens. It picks up right after the first one ended, which has never been done in a Star Wars movie.
So as a Star Wars fan, you were happy with that trailer?
I am very happy.
What's odd though is that they released the trailer 2 months before.
I know, Disney and Lucas, they are weird when it comes to doing that.
I think they just don't care. I think they know that they're gonna make a lot of money regardless.
Of course, it's Star Wars.
They could have just sent out a video of Star Wars written on a cardboard box, and that would have been enough.
Honestly, they couldn't. They didn't even have to show a trailer, and people are still gonna go in line and watch this movie. I mean, when they put the tickets on sale online on Monday, they were almost instantly sold out in a lot of places. There's people camping out to buy these tickets physically.
Wait, they're already selling pre-tickets?
Yeah. Really? I got my pair.
Oh, shit. Okay. I guess I'll watch it because I've seen every Star Wars movie, even though I'm not the biggest fan. I've seen every Star Wars movie, and I guess I'll watch it, but I'm not going to watch it anywhere near the premiere.
See, that's how I felt about Harry Potter. I didn't like it, but I sat through every film, and I was like, it was okay.
I'll probably wait a few weeks before I go check it out.
Yes, because it's going to be, there's going to be those hardcore fans that are going to watch it like every day for 2 weeks. And, they just got no life.
All right. Well, I'm not going to rag too much on Star Wars because I don't want too many hate comments. But, so as a Star Wars fan, you were happy?
I am. I'm going to watch it 5 times the first week.
All right. So, like I said, this was our first ever SGNS Chat, and we're actually just testing it out to see how it goes. Because we actually are thinking of maybe starting a podcast or actually doing more of these chats and seeing the reaction to it. So for anybody that follows SGNS or watches these watches these videos, actually, please let us know what you think, and if you think we should continue doing it. And we're gonna see what we could do when it comes to the direction of the show, and if we're gonna do more stuff like this.
That's right. So
and I think it'd be fun.
I like it. I get to talk. Plus, I love to talk. So
yeah, you get to hear Ray's voice.
I know, this beautiful, sexy voice. You get to hear it, and you don't even have to share it with the world. You just put on your mic, your headphones on, and you can just hear me talk. It's a beautiful thing.
And I think one of the reasons we decided to do something like this is because when we get together, sometimes we talk about the most random crap, and we figure, hey, why don't we just record it and see if anybody wants to listen to
Exactly.
this?
That's why it's called the Super Geeky Nerdy Show, because we're just a bunch of super geeks and nerds.
Yeah, so this one was a little informal, but I guess if we continue doing these shows, we're going to set them up to be a little more formal and maybe have some, like I said, more things like guests and more interesting stuff for our audiences. So, like I said, please let us know what you guys think.
All right, guys. Thanks for hearing us out. I'm Ray Coffie.
And this is Patrick.
And you're listening to the Super Geeky Nerdy Show, SGNS Chat.